Hi, I'm Mary Brantley, and I'm a member of Team Journey. Other members of Team Journey include Linda Dean, Ling Gao, Luis Jimenez, and Abdul Shaheed. We'll present to you today our project titled Journey of Atlanta. We'll give you a brief overview. We will discuss the project charter. You'll hear more about the scope statement, risk management plan, work breakdown structure, resource plan, and a conclusion. The Journey of Atlanta was an idea that was formed from the collaboration of Team Journey. When the group was first formed, we had survey discussions. We had conversations among each other just to get a good idea about the members themselves, to understand our likes, our dislikes. And one of the common denominators that we realized is that we all had the love of travel. It's from this common interest that the project was born. Journey of Atlanta is an idea that includes expanding an existing tour company to add additional tour options with specialty themes. The themes would be based around our personal interest. Abdul is our avid sports fan. Ling is the adventurer. We have Linda, who loves history and museums. Luis is our techie sci-fi gamer, and myself, I'm less the adventurer, and I prefer a little more luxury and convenience. You'll hear from us more about how we intend to share these interests in the form of tour options. Next, you'll hear from Linda Dean. She'll share with you our project charter.
Hi, my name is Linda Dean, and I'm going to talk about the project charter. First, I'm going to discuss the mission and the purpose. The goal is to modify existing tour options and create new packages and customizable tours in the form of transportation, theme, and activities. Now, with the goal of the tour company being to offer a wide variety of entertainment options and tours, this project should help to expand the options and increase the customer base by appealing to new demographics. This is a large project that's hoping to accomplish its goal by expanding partnerships and relationships with other companies around Atlanta. Now, the statement of work. This project will create new experiences for the tourists that currently aren't offered or are limited by season. The primary means of accomplishing this goal is by creating partnerships and relationships with local companies in Atlanta that will allow our customers to tour their businesses. This should generate extra revenue for the visited company and increase the tour company's client base. Now, for the objectives. The objectives are to expand the customer base for the tour company and increase exposure for the visited companies by creating unique tour experiences not offered by competitors. Now, this should generate more revenue for not only Atlanta specialty tours, but also for partners involved with Atlanta Specialty Tours. All right, now the business need. Atlanta Specialty Tours is a small company looking to expand its business, and this is an opportunity to create an experience not usually offered by other tour companies. Some modifications to the business include leasing or buying company vehicles used for the tours, event planning, and consequential tour options. The ideas brought forth with this project will be aimed at unique experience tourists don't usually expect from a tour company. Now, the project manager and stakeholders are Dr. Marhsall, who is the project manager, and she delegated the task of following through with the project to Luis Jimenez, Mary Brantley, myself, Linda Dean, Ling Gao, and Abdul Shaheed. The stakeholders and the project team are one and the same. Now, for the milestones, first of all, we're going to obtain equipment and supplies, and we'll do that by March 18th, 2014. And then we're going to acquire the vehicles by March 25th, 2014. Next, we're going to lock down partnerships by April 1st, 2014, and then we're going to train the guides by April 8th, 2014. Our budget we have calculated to be $561,920. The user acceptance criteria and quality is 10% increase in profit margin over 5 years. The high-level project assumptions, well, the niche we are trying to fill in the tour market isn't something readily available with other tour companies. And our high-level project constraints, well, the project is a local project focused on Atlanta and nowhere else. Now, the weather could possibly prevent some tours from being available some days. Also, overlapping schedules, issues with recreational centers is also a major constraint. Exclusions and boundaries. Our major boundary is that we are not expanding beyond the Atlanta area. There are other areas we could reach out to, but our primary focus for this project is Atlanta businesses and activities. Now, the lack of interest by targeted demographics could be one of the major risks. Businesses unwilling to partner up, and customer participation not enough to meet our acceptance criteria of a 10% increase in profit margin over the next 5 years. Now, I would like to introduce Ling Gao, who is going to talk to you about the scope statement.
My name is Ling Gao. I will talk about the scope statement. First one is a statement of the work. Our concept is to create a new form of trips based on existing tour options in Atlanta, give new experience to customers. For example, you are able to join the tour, which could be thematic or an event. It is more like a group. People have same interest, including shopping, game, sports, flight, history, and more. And we will provide variable forms of transportation to meet the different tours' need. Besides, our another objective is kind of like the advertising that expanding the partnership and the connection with tour providers, such as game companies, recreation centers, museums, sports stadiums, restaurant, and so forth, to make us more exposure and get more business opportunity. The second one is project deliverable. The 5 distinctive tour options will be released. The first one, sports tours. Watching intense sports game like basketball, baseball, football with your friends in the stadium in Atlanta. The second one, the Civil War history tours. Customers will explore the historical museums and the buildings which preserves the relics when Civil War comes to Atlanta. Fine dining and shopping tours allows customers, especially women, enjoy shopping, spa treatments, wine tasting, and fine dining. Game tours lead video gamers from fantastic game world to real life, gives them the opportunity to visit a game company and play outstanding new game in Atlanta. Air tour, the final one is a choice of flight amateur. It's exciting in the 1,300 feet altitude, get the sight of downtown or a view of the famous Stone Mountain. Project objectives and cost. We are looking forward to occupy the 25% market of travel industry in Atlanta, change the trend of current forms of tour, and the earned revenue increase will be more than double in 5 years. Technical requirement. All drivers must have a CDL. Especially air tour pilot should have the private helicopter license, and all tour guides must have good training, education, and understanding of everything involved with the tour. Also, all vehicles should be maintained in time. Next one is Abdul. He will introduce the risk management plan.
Hi, my name is Abdul Shaheed. I'm with Team Journey, and the section of our project that I will be introducing is the risk management plan. First, I'd like to define it. For risk management is a process for identifying, assessing, and prioritizing of different kinds of risks. Within our project, there are a total of 20 risks. We have prioritized three risks that have proven themselves detrimental to the project, and we have evaluated and came up with contingency plans in order to deal with them if they occurred. The first risk that I will address is traffic. Traffic is a great concern because the city of Atlanta has multiple events at any given time. The reason the traffic poses a risk for us is because we're concerned about arriving to the scheduled events on time. However, we do have a contingency plan, and our contingency plan is to provide alternate routes that will arrive at the event on time if traffic poses a risk. Our second risk management plan is the employees. If employees are tardy or just don't show up to work, this poses a risk. It lacks a staff member to be able to manage and guide customers as they come in, and it also places burdens on other staff members and creates more a stressful situation where it could be more at ease. Our contingency plan for this risk is to contact other employees and use them as reserves if employees do not show up or are tardy past a certain time frame. Last, customers. We need customers in order to progress in this new adventure. It's a new market, so we're hesitant that people will hesitate in experiencing the new tools that we are trying to establish. So what we've established as a contingency plan is to advertise 6 months to a year in advance in order to establish a sound foundation of publicity or a sufficient advertisement so that the people are aware of what we're trying to promote. Next, I'd like to introduce Jimenez, and he will be discussing work breakdown structure.
Good evening, class. My name is Jimenez, and I'm going to be covering the work breakdown structure and the resource management list for our group this week. The work breakdown structure, this is actually an overview of our entire work breakdown structure. Taking a look at the top, there's Team Journey. You have Civil War history, shopping and dining, sports, the air tour, and gaming. Each one of our team members is responsible for a different aspect of our overall project. Now, the Civil War history is going to be handled by Linda Dean. The shopping and dining is going to be handled by Mary Brantley. The sports package is handled by Abdul Shaheed. The air is going to be handled by Ling Gao, and the gaming is going to be handled by myself. Moving on to the next slide, the work breakdown structure continued. What exactly does our WBS say about our project? Well, we have 5 different tour variants being developed. Each one I just went over. Each tour variant is essentially its own sub-project inside the primary project. What I mean by this is that each aspect of our overall project, each tour variant, all of them are being put together into one big project that we're going to present to the company. With 5 members on our team, each member is taking charge of their own tour variant. Each variant must go through many of the same processes as the others. However, since the venues are different for each one, there's no way to combine the tasks. What I mean by this is that each one of us is going to have to go and foot it, and we're going to have to go talk to restaurants, we're going to have to talk to sites, we're going to have to talk to the owners of these places, and we're going to have to work out some sort of partnership. We're going to have to come up with discounts and certain rates for our tours. They're not all going to be the same. The places that you go for the gaming tour are not going to be the same as the places that you go for the shopping and dining tour. It's not the same as the sports tour. All of these things are going to be handled differently. So each task, even though the concept is the same, making partnerships, coming up with discounts, things like that, you can't overlap those tasks because they're completely not related to one another in terms of the variant of the tour. How does the WBS benefit our group? The biggest benefit to having the WBS is that it breaks down all of the tasks and subtasks in an easy to understand visual format that shows you how each task is relevant to the next. All that really means is that you can look at the work breakdown structure and see that for the gaming tour, you're going to have to talk to comic book stores, you're going to have to go and talk to gaming companies, technical companies, and below that make the partnerships, things like that. That's all that means. It follows a flow, and it's an easy to understand type of visual that you can look at and kind of see where things are going to need to head. It's a document that was essential in helping to build the resource management list, which I'm going to go over here in just a minute. Since our project branches off 5 different ways for the 5 members of our team, following the branches in the WBS gave us a clear understanding of what was expected of each one of us for the project. All that means is, again, if you look at the work breakdown structure, you can tell there's 5 different aspects of our project, and each one of those aspects is covered by an individual in our group. Going on to the next slide, the resource management list. What is a resource management list? Well, the resource management list is a document that allows you to list your resources, assign them to tasks, set their hours, and set their cost. Now for us, there's 5 of us, so there's 5 resources that we had to be able to use. Those 5 resources are assigned the same exact pay rate. I set us at $85 an hour. It's a standard calendar, meaning we don't work on weekends. It's a 9 to 5 with a 1-hour lunch break. We have no overtime. I set us with no overtime. The reason I did this is because if I would have spent any more money on us getting paid, the amount that the project would have cost for work alone would have been thousands of dollars more for a 2-month span, which really isn't all that good of a price when you're trying to develop packages for somebody, for a tour company. This list is used to organize and balance your resource usage so that you don't over-allocate what resources you have available and to ensure that none of them are underutilized. Managing your resources, making sure you don't overlap your resources and having them doing more tasks than they're actually able to do in that time frame. Getting anybody that's not already allocated to a task on something, to try to work within the time frame. While resources can be more than just personnel, our project was created and will be completed with the use of only 5, our team members. Let's take a look at the basic resource list. This is just a list, a really basic list that shows how much we get paid, shows our name, shows our initials, what team we're a part of, things like that. It shows that our overtime rate is the same exact thing as our standard rate. As you can see, each of our team members is listed as a resource with a standard rate of pay set to $85 an hour with no overtime pay increase. While our rate is low considering each of us is a project manager, any increase would set the working cost of the project far beyond anything acceptable for a 2-month span. Let's take a look at a sample of our resource usage. Now this shows each individual resource and the tasks assigned to them. For myself, it's going to be everything with gaming. For Linda, it's going to be everything with Civil War history. For Abdul, everything with sports. For Ling, everything with air. For Mary, everything with shopping and dining. You can review this in our actual project file. So I didn't put the whole thing on here, it wouldn't have fit. On our resource usage sheet, you can see it lists the name of the resource, Luis Jimenez. Under that resource is a list of all tasks assigned to it and the amount of work needed to complete the task. This sheet follows the same format for each one of our team members, listing their tasks and their hours assigned to them, with a calendar to the right that shows how many hours are worked on the exact date that task is scheduled. Finally, let's take a look at our entry table with the Gantt chart. In this sample, we can see Miss Brantley's shopping and dining tour broken down into tasks and subtasks. Where the resource usage sheet showed us the tasks and the duration, this view tells us exactly when each task is scheduled to begin and complete. The Gantt chart gives us a linear picture of the dates each task falls on and the resource responsible for carrying out that task. Now, our project is scheduled to start March the 4th, so it's already started. It ends the end of this session, which is going to be April the 22nd.
In conclusion, we feel that if the project just laid before you is properly executed, it will accomplish the overall goal of offering a variety of entertaining tour options, and we hope that it will appeal not only just to Atlanta tourists, but to locals as well. This project should help to increase the customer base by appealing to new demographics. Additionally, this project should also generate stability to Specialty Tours of Atlanta and its partners in the Atlanta area.